Since we've been experiencing extremely dry conditions, Nueces County Commissioners Court approved to ban the possession or sale of aerial fireworks. Since the drought index is currently over 575, fire chiefs confirmed that the court would be able to implement this ban and encourage them to do so to protect people and property. Aerial fireworks include skyrockets with sticks and missiles with fins. The order only applies to unincorporated areas of the county. It does not include inside the city limits.
I got a lot of farmers out there that this can affect and could kill their crops and ruin their, this is a big deal. This is a big deal. If you don't take the opportunity to do this, I'm sorry for all the people that are going to miss out on having fun out there, but we've got farmers out there and landowners and a lot of property that can be damaged.
The ban will be in effect until drought conditions no longer exist. Violation of this order is a Class C misdemeanor.